Hello, everyone. Welcome to another Newsmakers podcast. We got a good one today as we're taking a look at the HVAC Contractor Survey report by EGIA. To do that, we're bringing in David Holt, who is the general manager of EGI's Contractor University and HVAC Distributor University. David is a third-generation HVAC veteran and lifelong champion of industry education. On the heels of our top 30 distributors article, we thought a great time to bring in David to talk about contractors and distributors and that relationship and all that good stuff. Welcome to the podcast, David.
Thanks a lot, Kyle. Happy to be here. And I got to share a quick little story. Back in 1987, the News was responsible for kicking off a software company that I had started. How about that? We'll have to share that story later. But got a long-term relationship with you guys, and I've enjoyed reading the magazine for decades now.
Oh, really appreciate that. We do what we can. To start off, why don't you give us some major findings of that contractor study that I was kind of talking about in the intro there?
You bet. So it's interesting. We posed a bunch of questions to a whole bunch of contractors across North America late last year, 2024. Compiled that. We partnered up with Decision Analyst, who is a great research firm that's been focused on the HVAC industry for decades as well. And interestingly enough, some of the things are not surprising. As a former contractor myself, when I was on the ACCA National Board, I was part of the education committee, and we found that when we surveyed contractors back in the 90s, that they said, the number one problem we have is finding and keeping good people. Well, guess
Shocking,
what the
yeah.
number one finding is right now, Kyle?
Yep, absolutely. I hear it a
Hasn't
lot.
changed. We still have challenges of identifying, recruiting, training, keeping people on board with us. It's a tough job. It's a tough business. It's a great business. My family's been living off this business for 5 generations now. And so that's not a surprising one. But the interesting thing is when you start looking at the other elements of the survey, one of the things we found is that uh, there's not really a lot of difference between some of the younger generation folks that are running businesses and some of the old guys like me. A lot of the same issues. Everybody's kind of in agreement that they've got issues and challenges around the idea of keeping their people trained up properly once they get them in, once they can recruit them and get them in, making sure that they can differentiate their business in different ways other than low price. And we found it really interesting. This is one of the really key interesting things is that price seems to drive conversations at the counter, right? At the parts counter between contractors. Like, oh man, how did that guy get that job? That low bid thing is still out there. And we got a little acronym for low bid. Low bid stands for left out warranty to beat idiot's deal. Right. And it's kind of crazy that price, even though we hear it all the time talking amongst contractors, the research showed that customer experience is the number one differentiator that contractors are finding important to homeowners specifically. And that was a good thing that they're seeing that their brand, that contractor's brand, the experience that they provide to the homeowner is the most important element in their business. And that was a little bit surprising because we usually see price way up on the list. It was actually at the bottom of the list.
Interesting. And then customer experience, we're just talking about making sure you show up on time, how easy it is to work your website, what that tech or salesperson, soft skills, how they're interacting with the customer. Is that what we're talking about there?
Yeah, absolutely. So, and it's kind of funny because on this podcast, and we appreciate the opportunity to serve the industry in this way, but in this podcast, we're talking to people within an echo chamber, right? We're talking to heating and air folks. So if we start talking about SEER and AFUE and HSPF and tons and all these different things, we can communicate. But it's interesting, if we were at Ruth Chris Steakhouse and we talked about SEER, how would the people in the restaurant spell SEER?
I'm getting hungry just thinking about it, Dave.
Exactly right, right. And so SEER is SEAR at the steakhouse, right?
Yep.
And if we communicate SEER, when we're thinking SEER, they're hearing SEAR. That's confusing to homeowners, right? Because we're communicating in different ways. So yeah, that customer experience is making sure that you can communicate the value that your systems provide in a way that they understand, in words that they understand, and in concepts they understand. And so part of that customer experience that contractors are recognizing is that when we fail to deliver a message that's understandable to the homeowner, we fail the sale as well, right? It comes down to just dollars. If they're confused, if homeowners are confused by everybody they talk to, and the only thing they have is to compare it with is dollars, then guess what? A lot of times low bid wins just because they're confused. And I would probably do the same thing if I was a homeowner.
Now let's take out the finding help. We know if we're on the Family Feud, that would be our first guess, and that would be the number one answer. But what other challenges are contractors facing? And then to flip it to a little bit, how can distributors help them in those challenges?
That's a great question. So some of the big challenges that contractors are having is nothing happens until somebody sells something. So it seems to revolve around sales. So lead generation, um, being able to focus on value building in the conversation with their homeowners, understanding how to communicate affordable monthly payments, right? How am I going to afford this thing? I wasn't planning on buying an air conditioner today, right? It's like, wow, and these things are expensive. I'm getting ready to change out a system at my house, and I'm having to get like a real quote from a real company because we sold our family business back in 99. So I'm having to deal with one of my old competitors, and it's like, man, prices have gone up, right? So I'm feeling that pinch right now as a consumer, but I mean, I understand it, I get it, and I know they got to charge what they got to charge to stay in business, and I'm not begrudging them that, but homeowners, they need to understand more about what this investment is all about. And when you think about the safety, the health, the comfort, and the efficiency elements of an HVAC system, and you can communicate the value of those four elements to the homeowner, you can get the price that you need to do the job right, right? And so offering choices to the customer, giving them anything from a government minimum efficiency type system all the way up to the one with all the bells and whistles and a few options in between, gives the customer more freedom to make their own choice rather than me being I'm the wizard and I know all the answers to all the questions and I know more about the comfort of your home, Kyle, than you do. Well, that's not true. Kyle's been living in his house for a minute. I've been in here less than a minute and I know
Right.
more about it. No, you know more about it. And so I need to make sure that I understand what's important to you. So one of the things that distributors can do for contractors is help them be exposed to more of that kind of thinking, more of, hey guys, it's not all about low bid. It's about building value. But here's the interesting thing. I didn't learn how to build value in my dad's business back in the 90s by just staying in my dad's business. Right? I had to go out and get education from other places. I got involved with trade associations. I heard what other successful people were doing. We were only about a $3 million business back then. And when I hung around different guys, I didn't hang around other $3 million guys because they we're doing the same thing. We're at the same level. I want to hang around the 5, the 10, the 15 million, 20 million. Today it'd be like 100 million, 400 million, right? I want to hang around those guys that are doing it at a higher level so I can learn what they've learned to get me to the next level. So part of what the wholesale world needs to be thinking about is the contractor is really your retail sales force, right? If they don't sell anything, neither do you, right? And to the extent that we can help them understand the importance of measuring the performance of the systems that they put in, of pricing jobs in a profitable way, of presenting options to homeowners so that they can feel a stress-free buying environment, right? They're in control of their project from a pricing standpoint and so forth. When we can do those things and then bundle it all up with affordable monthly payments, man, life is so much better. Contractors are going to do better. Wholesalers are going to do better. Manufacturers are going to do better as well.
Interesting that you bring up prices. Obviously, it's going up, and there's reasons for that, right? The equipment's getting more efficient. The refrigerant transition. Who knows how this tariff that plays out? But just in talking with the kind of pricing and supply chain, obviously we went through an issue with COVID. Now maybe a little bit issue with refrigerants this summer too. Are you seeing more contractors using multiple distributors versus just one distributor? And talk about maybe how that trend shapes how distributors should be thinking.
Yeah, it's interesting. I just sat through a survey reveal with Hardy in the like first of the year, and I guess the last of the last of last year. Um, it's the first of the training year in my brain. Anyway,
Yeah.
so back in December, sat through a Hardy presentation. They found similar things to what we found, and that is that a there is a focus of searching for available product, right? So the number one reason that we found that people did change is they were having problems with availability. So supply chain issues were causing some problems. Obviously, this refrigerant transition thing has a huge impact because manufacturers on January 1st had to quit building what they've been building for the last several years, right?
Yep.
And had to shift. They had to change over to a new refrigerant. And so, that's been a big challenge. But what we see is that the improvements in equipment technology are some of the things that guys are looking at. And if a wholesaler has decided to kind of buy into the idea that only government minimum efficiency equipment is what sells, so that's all they're carrying, that's going to make a challenge for them to reach guys that are saying, you know what, I'm kind of embracing this new technology now. Old guys like me been doing this for a long time. Sometimes we get a little resistant to change. I don't know if you've seen that in your life, Kyle, but I'm finding it's more and more
Yep.
these
Yep.
days, right? But when you think about the changes, the whole A2L thing that's going on, when you think about what is going on from a uh, from an organizational standpoint, it's really incumbent upon wholesalers, upon the distribution world to absolutely look at what you're offering to your customers, to your contractors, and realigning it with what they need. And what they need is they need help in differentiating their business. They really do. They need help in improving that customer experience. So, things like soft skills, communication, like you talked about, being able to teach people how to say something other than SEER 2 and AFUE, like, you gotta communicate value in words that customers, homeowners understand. And so the whole idea of distributors change or contractors changing distributors is really driven a lot by what additional value are you providing? Because with all due respect, I've been to most of the plants that manufacture HVAC equipment in the United States anyway. I haven't been down to Mexico and I haven't been up anywhere in Canada looking at it, but definitely in the US. I've been to most of the plants, and almost every one of the plants, I look around the corner and there's a Copeland truck. Hmm. Right? It's like, okay, we got some common components in all these boxes, and they all do some pretty amazing things. And yeah, brand A's got this and brand B's got that, and there's some nice little bells and whistles that different brands offer. But in the long run, it's the service level that the wholesaler delivers to me as a contractor that's most important. In fact, I told our distributor here in Georgia when we were back in the business, they asked me, "What are you looking for?" I said, "I'm looking for great service because I can't give good service to my homeowner unless I get great service from you." He's like, "What? You don't want a discount? I want you to charge what you need to charge to stay in business." All right, I want you to
Yep.
be looking out for me as a contractor. When you know of new technology that's coming in, I want to put one in my house first to figure out if it's going to work. And if it works, then I'll start talking about it, right? If you see a training opportunity for me to be better or my team to be better, I need to know about it before the class fills, right? And I don't want to have to go to your competitor to get that training. I want to get it from you, right? So I want all of those things wrapped up in a nice little package called your service to me as a contractor. And those are value adds because the box is the box, right? I mean, the box is the box. It's a cardboard box in everybody's delivery. It's a cardboard box. It's up to me to put it in properly. It's up to me, though, to be educated on doing that. Well, where do I learn that? I mean, I learned that at wholesale, right? I learn it from my distributor. So it's a teamwork thing, right? It's a teamwork thing. And that phrase of I can't give good service unless I get good service is kind of the foundation of what we're trying to do, even with HVAC Distributor University at EGIA, is how do we help contractors and wholesalers work together as a team to produce an excellent customer experience. Since that's the most important thing, even in the homeowner's mind, if either one of us drops the ball, customer experience is going to suffer.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I don't think HVC, at least I've been in it for about 20 years now, has ever been in a more kind of transient time, but with all the changes that are affecting it. So I assume one of the value adds would be to educate the contractor on, tariffs or what's happened with the IRA or a lot of the breaking news that the contractors can't stay on top of. Any other kind of hidden items that some distributors aren't doing that you think they should be doing to be helping contractors out that we could educate them on today?
Well, I think kind of the biggest thing, again, nothing happens until somebody sells something. So when you think about that being kind of the tip of the spear, helping them understand some of the foundational principles of what a contractor needs to be successful in the sales process, right? And there is a process there. It doesn't have to be mechanically wrote, like I hate canned presentations, but I love planned presentations. I love to know when I'm working with somebody who studies the craft that they're practicing there. And the problem is we have in our industry, we have a whole lot of tradesmen that you think about it, Kyle, what does it take to become a tradesman in our industry? You just got to get somebody to say, yeah, come to work, I'll pay you. Now you're a
you,
tradesman in our
you
industry.
make a decision to do it is all it is. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it, right? And so it doesn't really translate to being a craftsman right away. So craftsman, when you think about the difference between a tradesman and a craftsman studies what it is that they're doing and continually works to be better tomorrow than they are today, right? And so when we consider how we can do that, how we can be better tomorrow than we are today. I mean, it's baby steps. It can't be like leaping jumps of change, but it's baby steps. You're asking about switching distributors and considering new brands and all that. And I'm looking at the research here real quick, and younger companies that have been only operating 0 to 15 years actually have a higher propensity to move than more established companies. Well, what does that tell us? Well, more established companies have already found where they can get the good service and they're hanging with it. They're not as likely to jump ship, so to speak, as the younger guys, because maybe the younger guys, the ones that haven't been in business as long, obviously potentially their sales volume is a little smaller, so they don't get the same love that the big guys get, right? The big
Yeah.
contractors get. They don't get the same tender loving care from the territory manager because territory manager that's managing 50 accounts seriously can't handle visiting with all 50 accounts even once a month. The scheduling would be nuts. So what do? They pick on and serve the top 20%. So they take care of 10 people. There's 40 that aren't being taken care of as well as they should. How do we fix that, right? How do we help the entire industry be better tomorrow than they are today, rather than just focusing on the big ones? So when you look at people that are more likely to switch or considering switching, um, it's crazy the difference between just the age of the companies. And when we look at it from a standpoint of the age of the actual owner, younger owners are more likely to switch as well. And so it's like, okay, hmm, what can I do to help a smaller, we'll call it a younger company, less experienced company? How do I help those guys, which that's the 80% of our business, of our industry? How do I help those guys recognize the value that I bring to the table and grow them to the point where they wouldn't even think about leaving? Right. And it's like, man, that would be the secret sauce. Again, those are kind of the things we're working on within HVAC Distributor University to try to help empower and equip distributors with the tools and training they need to pull that off. So we're pretty excited about that.
Yeah, no, that's interesting data, Dave. And you have mentioned Distributor University a few times, and I see it over your right shoulder there. But I don't think we've really defined it in general for our audience. So you can kind of just give the maybe the elevator pitch for Distributor University and what it's all about. We'd be
Well,
curious.
I appreciate that opportunity. So the crazy thing about what we're trying to do with this, and it's not really crazy. I mean, it's a good thing. All we're trying to do is with HVAC Distributor University, we're not trying to teach people how to run a forklift. All right. This is not about the operational side of the business. They're really good at the logistics side. They got lots of training resources and so forth available for that. But where we've run into this is, we've been training contractors for an awful long time at EGIA. Our contractor university, which I'm the general manager of both university of the contractor university and the distributor university. Um, the distributors that we've been working with over the years through their contractors are seeing the value of a better educated contractor. And they've been coming to us now and saying, what can you do for us? Because we need a lot of what we just heard you teach them. We need to understand that so we can help coach them and help uh, pull them through actually executing on the stuff that you're teaching, right? Be there as a really caring guide through this process. And so we've heard it enough times, or the leadership of EGIA has heard it enough times to say, you know what, why don't we go ahead and put together a package of education that focuses on that relationship between the contractor and the wholesaler, where it's trying to create this teamwork. So we've got some core values real quick that I want to hit you with. So one of the first core, well, the first core value is partnership first. So we believe in that strong relationship, that strong relationship is the foundation of a long-term success. And when we both do what our part is, like we're helping distributors understand what's going on with contractors, and we're helping contractors understand how to work with distributors. When we're doing that, we all win, right? We help the whole industry grows. Service through education. We're not trying to be everything to everybody. We're just trying to educate people on the proper ways of doing things. Looking at KPIs, looking at best practices, always being helpful. That's a huge core value. So every touch point that the contractor or the distributor has with a contractor is opportunity to make someone's job easier. And so one of the things that even our instructors will do is, let's say that we're hosting a class at that wholesaler's place and they had a handful of people that couldn't make it. Maybe they just got busy, got some calls they had to run. There's just no way they were going to stop for a training class. Well, our coaches actually came up with this idea. So, well, what if we hold an after the class Zoom meeting where we can go over the high points of the class for those people that missed it? And we've had distributors say, "You'll do that?" Well, yeah. I mean, it's our goal is to help the people that you're serving be better tomorrow than they are today. So yes, we will do that. So practical, actionable training. It's not about stuff that we read in a book. It's about stuff that we've actually done. So I personally have never worked in a distributorship, but I have spent millions of dollars at distributorships over my career. But the people that are really the content experts within HVAC Distributor University are people that have actually worked in distribution. So we've got sales managers, we've got territory managers, we've got people that have worked in the industry of distribution that are now on our team that are helping to build content to help support industry initiatives at distribution level. Integrity in all we do. If we say we're going to do it, we're going to do it. And if we ever stumble, please call me first, because I can't fix what I don't know is broke, right? So if something doesn't go well, um, I'll start off with a deep, very heartfelt apology for the failure, and we'll figure out what caused the failure, and we'll do what we can to solve that problem going forward. And then growth mindset is the last core value. And when we think about the growth mindset, it's like, I do want to be better tomorrow than I am today. And I've been out of college for a long time. And I mean, the only reason I go back over there is watch football games, but I'm still learning every day. I was listening to a book this morning on the treadmill, right? So it's like I'm still trying to learn every day something new to help me be better tomorrow so that I can serve you tomorrow better than I could yesterday, right? And so those are kind of the core values. So what we're trying to do is just kind of help the team really be a team and work together, not against each other.
All right, so there. Enough hours in the day for you, Dave? Being a GM of the Distributor University and Contractor University feels like being the football coach and the basketball coach at a college.
Yeah, it's actually the same ball though. So it's kind of a cool thing, right? It's kind of the same
Yeah.
ball because we're still talking about the box, right? So all I'm worried about is the handoff between the guy with the forklift and the guy with the bad back, right? It's like I want to make sure that, I've been in this industry really since birth. My granddad started his family business back in 1956. I was born in 58, so I'm an old guy. But the amazing thing is, people talk about how much has changed. Like when I was running my dad's business here in Georgia back in the 90s, yeah, our advertising was yellow page ads, right? And we had billboards and we did a lot of direct mail, and that's all good. And everybody's, it's SEO, it's all this internet stuff now, which I would love to have been able to do what we're doing right now back in those days. But one thing is for sure, as good as all these manufacturers are, so far, nobody has invented a furnace that signs a contract to replace itself.
That'd be
It,
nice.
it's still a people to people business. It's
Yep.
still a boots on the ground business. As much technology as we have, it still requires a wrench to be in the hand of a craftsman to do this job properly. So while lots of things have changed, that hasn't. And that's really what we're talking about with HVAC Distributor University, is kind of helping that person to person relationship be a whole lot better tomorrow than it is today.
Appreciate the time, Dave. We'll get you out on this. If people want to learn more about Distributor University, where should we be sending them?
So HVAC Distributor University.com. We got a
Easy
website.
enough.
We got a lot of stuff out there. And for distributors that are interested, we can get in touch with you, talk a little bit about it, and actually give you a 10-day free trial to go check it all out and see if it's something that you're interested in.
All right, great. Thanks for the time today, Dave.
Thanks a lot, Kyle. Appreciate the opportunity to serve.